So this is a recap for live stream 313, I believe. And today we've had a somewhat more successful day than we've had in the past. We've narrowed down our strategies down to only two for the moment. So let's talk about the trades. We'll have a look at gold first. And let's see. Do I have... Okay, so over on gold, you can see here, the first trade I made was I made an accidental trade to the long side, got out of it for a profit, then went short because that was a setup. I noticed this bull flag pretty much been building here. So there's this trade right here. And I suppose I could turn the text red because it didn't work out. Didn't work out, so went short, bull flag came up, got stopped out. After that, had another short trade here. And price came up, was stopped out over there as well. Went short, price turned around, was stopped out for a loss. Out of revenge, went short, thought price could come down and clear the lows, head down and retest this 86.8. Didn't quite do that, so price came up, was stopped out. Eventually went short again through here. Is that right? I think it was. Went short again. Price came up, was eventually stopped out again. So things were not going well at this point, and I was very frustrated as the gold market continued to grind to the upside. After which, continued to trade, of course. Went short here. Price eventually came down and finally hit target. So the accuracy was just not great on gold today. Went short a couple of times. The market is still, it's up slightly, but we saw in the overnight, we had selling through Asia and Europe, had a gap up, sold off, brief rally before the New York Open, around about 7 or so, had more selling, had a rally into New York, so we could see more selling to the downside. Went short a couple of times, the market just continued to the upside, and this short here worked out. Over on ES, decided to add ES to the trading today. Let's get the dynamic, let's have this showing. I believe that's it. There's should only be a couple of trades on ES. Okay, so over here on ES, went short, price turned around, was stopped out, further adding to the losses. Went short again, added to the position right there, went short, added to the position as prices was coming down. Prices went down, hit target. I then placed a pending order where I exited. Price didn't quite come there before going to the downside. Now the reason I placed a pending order there was because I had a similar trade over on NQ that didn't hit target. So I thought, well, if this is going to pull back, hopefully I get picked up, and then this comes back down to the original target, I could somewhat mitigate some of the early losses that I was suffering on gold. So after that, prices sold off, came down to this level, down at the 607.75s. Over here, there was a few mistakes that were made, and these were pretty much because of switching between gold and ES. We can see there is hit the target, but over on gold and ES, so went long. I was trying to get into the short over on gold. Actually exited this position by mistake. Went long again. and that caused some issues as well. So eventually went long, took it off there, went long again. So this was between taking those trades over, it's trying to take on gold. But the original setup here is to go long, especially off this candle. So went long. Notice on another chart that we had VWAP sitting around 28.50. The original target on this trade was around the 630s. Took profits, thought about getting back in as prices pulled back, decided against it and decided to end the trading on the day. We can see here price would have pulled back down to this level, would have provided another opportunity to go long, would not have hit the original stop, and of course would have hit the original target up at 30. So there were a few, could have even taken this trade. So there were a few, that's the reason why I've written here, took profits at VWAP rather than 30, so at 27.75 I believe. Those were the trades on ES. So we had this loser over here, had a couple of losers through there due to execution errors. Of course this one would have worked out. Over on NQ, what is this? Back away from charts. It seems only a couple of trades on NQ. So over on NQ, had to wait for the market to set up. Same scenarios as what's happened on ES. Went short, prices came back, was stopped out. Went short again, added to the position. Price came down to 32. To my frustration, that's where my target was. Rallied all the way back, and that's the reason I took the ES trade. Eventually prices rolled over and the target was hit. Waited, prices set up long down here, went long, was stopped out. Prices turned around, stopped out, went long again. Prices eventually went in my favor and my target was hit here. Didn't have the VWAP issues I had over on ES, so the target was hit over there. I was pretty happy with that, and with the total P&L it was okay. So started the day, the last time I traded was Friday the 20th. Started the day 547.836 through a series of trades. As you can see, started off okay on that error on gold where I took the wrong direction, wasn't following the plan on the very first trade. From there, drew down quite massively to minus 27, 13.5, 18.5, 32, 23. I was very frustrated at this point. Minus 48.5. So that wasn't, through that period there, it was definitely tough psychologically to have loss after loss after loss after loss. Still stuck with the plan. Managed to pick up a winner there, pick up another winner there. Had a loss in between on the NQ. That was that trade that turned around, eventually hit the stop. Pretty big loss over there. Had the execution errors on ES. This explains these two losses here. These were the execution errors when trying to go short on gold. I was actually going short on ES, which is not what I wanted to do. I was exiting positions early and getting in the positions the wrong way. Eventually, we can see here, picked up the win on gold at that short position on gold. Eventually, the long got hit on NQ, and the trade which I took off at VWAP on ES was this trade here, which over time would have hit the target. So we can see there, picked up far. So the account went from 47 up to 78 here. This is the total P&L since the creation of the account. That's the reason why it's a negative number. Just bear with me a second here. And so I'm back, and those were pretty much what we did. So I'll have a look at the trade performance. And over on the trade performance, let's get this cropped. Well, that doesn't work, does it? So on the trade performance here, we can see we picked up, we had a total of 15, 6 winners, 9 losers, 40%. Was successful on NQ and ES, unsuccessful on gold. You can see the accuracy there. Accuracy is well off on gold, not good performance. Average loss here, average win being bigger there overall. You see the average loss being 50 on NQ, 76 average win, 12 on ES, 35. So those are pretty good metrics right there. Just not great over on gold. So there's some positives to take from today, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. I may not be able to do tomorrow actually. I've got a project I've got to deal with. But if I do have the time, I will certainly make a video tomorrow. But with that said, thanks for watching. Good luck trading. Have a great day.